Hey folks, so I did a video on Demigender a couple years ago with my friend Daz. I thought it was about time that I do like an updated video on that because I still identify as a demi-boy, but some stuff in my life has changed and I thought it'd be interesting to come at it from a different perspective 2 years later. There has also been like a bit of a resurgence on my old video, and that video is kind of tainted because I don't know how many of you remember, I don't know who I've actually told about this, but most people probably won't know. That video was reviewed by a certain very problematic true scum YouTuber who obviously made the review and then sent his fans to my video, and there was a whole thing. There was awful comments, like so many of my videos had like really horrible comments written on them and it got disliked, like everyone was just like going around disliking all my videos, and obviously like it was affecting Daz as well. So I thought maybe I should make a new video which hopefully won't get that kind of bad negative attention this time. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to do a new one, to be honest, because that one was like, you know, like it's not a bad video, like, but obviously it just has all that attached to it, and like obviously like we got the review video taken down and then he uploaded an apology video, but I've since checked and he's deleted that apology video, so clearly he doesn't give a F. There's also another YouTuber who was involved with that, who was egging on his fans as well to comment all this horrible stuff on my video. I'm not going to say their names because I don't want that on my video, but the first guy, if you don't know who he is already, his name begins with a K, and the other guy, his name begins with an N and ends in a H. So there are two trans YouTubers out there whose names start with a K and an N, and they are not very nice people. And even though yes, he did do an apology video, he didn't apologise for the things that he said. He apologised for bullying us because his video got taken down and he got a strike on his channel. So the other guy hasn't apologised yet either, although I've heard some things from other people saying that he's changed, but until I get a direct apology, he follows my YouTube, so if you're seeing this, you're welcome to reach out to me. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to move on from that and get on to the point of this video, because it's actually a very happy video. It's not supposed to be a bad video, so please enjoy it. So I'm going to link my old video down below anyway, just in case like you want to watch it to kind of get an idea of how I used to be. Not as in like, oh my god, look at him, that's how I used to be. It's more like, oh, that's just how we used to be. I'm trans. We change over the years, and it's interesting to see. Like, I don't hide any of my old videos. Like, you can go and check out all my old videos from like 5+ years ago, you know, where before I came out and everything. Like, I like having those videos up because I like being able to see the differences, and how I identify has changed over the years. When I first came out, I actually came out as gender fluid, and then gender queer, but always under the non-binary umbrella. At that point, I wasn't sure if I wanted to transition because I didn't really know anything about it at all. Like, I only knew like one other person who was non-binary at that time that kind of helped me realise that I was non-binary. Transitioning was a very scary concept. Like, I was still presenting as like female, like a cis het female, even though like I was bisexual. I never really went out of my way to express that because I thought I looked so like a straight woman that I wouldn't get attention from women or non-binary folk. So yeah, I kind of kept that hidden for many years. Now look at me, I'm a raging gay. I first came out as non-binary and I didn't know that I wanted to transition, and then I came back because at this point I was living in Japan, so I came back and I realised that I wanted to transition, and I started getting people to use he him pronouns because I'd previously been going by they them only. I changed my style a little bit. I cut my hair short and suddenly I just kind of felt like more myself, kind of like how I am now. I didn't know that demi-boy was a word back then either, so I was just like, I'm non-binary, trans, masculine, and I think that's still how I kind of identify it to this day, like non-binary, trans, masculine. However, I feel like the word demi-boy is more encompassing to all of that. So I'll just explain what demi-boy means, and I'll explain my interpretation of demi-boy and why I like it. So nonbinary.wiki states that a demi-boy is someone whose gender identity is only partly male regardless of their assigned gender at birth. They may identify as another gender in addition to feeling partially a boy or a man. They may also define their identity as both male and genderless. So for me personally, like that last bit is kind of like how I see myself. Like, I I like being seen as a boy, and I like people using he, him pronouns and calling me a boy. I don't really like the word man, but that's just a personal thing. I think it's, as a person who's almost 30, I feel like it's a bit too much, like it's showing my age. And yeah, I don't like it. I like boy, and I like pretty boy, and I like Demiboy. Although yes, I like being seen as a boy in public, and to people who perceive me, I want them to read me as male. That's just part of it. Like, I'm also non-binary, and I have been non-binary this whole time. Like, when I first came out, I was non-binary. And like, some people throughout their transition, like, they change, or throughout their lives, they just change the way they identify, because people are ever changing. So for me, that's the only constant throughout all of this, is that I've been non-binary, even though how I've identified has kind of changed a little bit over the years. But yeah, like, I do feel like I'm mask-leaning non-binary. Like, I like being androgynous, I like being genderless, but I also like being seen in a more masculine way, and I like having a more masculine silhouette in what I wear, and I like having all the things that are traditionally associated with masculinity. Being a man, like being on T, has helped that a lot, especially with like my voice and my facial hair and other things. I still want to get top surgery. Like, I've been on T for 3 years. Like, I'm happy identifying as male and being seen as male, which is a very privileged part for me, to be a non-binary person who is happy being seen as a binary gender. But this all comes into being a demi-boy, because it's all very inclusive with all of that. Like, it's a really good word to describe how I feel, and I'm very happy that I have that word, because there's a lot of non-binary folk out there who just don't have that kind of privilege. They are non-binary, so if public reads them as a girl or a boy, it's not correct, you know, because that's just not how they feel. And I was, once upon a time, like back when I was only identifying as non-binary and used they them pronouns, I was very female presenting. Like, I had, you know, traditionally I was very female presenting, and I had long hair and I wore dresses, and I was this is like back in my Lolita, like sweet Lolita phase. So like, I was wearing dresses and skirts, even though like I was trying to figure out, like, it was making me uncomfortable, but I did it because I like the fashion. So it sucks, because like, I love those fashions, but I like them on other people now. So I appreciate other people who wear those fashions, because I can't do it because it gives me dysphoria. And I realised, like, it always has, like, even when I was younger, like, I identified as a tomboy because I didn't like traditionally feminine clothes. Like, I always kind of wanted to do things that were traditionally for boys. Like, I hate all of this, but it was, like, back then, that's kind of what I was. And yeah, so like, when I was in Japan, I just come out as non-binary, I was wearing dresses, I had long hair, I wasn't on T, like, I was at an all-girls university in Tokyo, so like, it was really hard to kind of come out, you know, back then. Like, there were some people who knew, but most people just used he, her pronouns with me, and it wasn't something that I felt comfortable trying to express, especially in the country that I just moved to, that I guess I was learning the language, but like, I wasn't 100% confident with it, and I already have like social anxiety anyway, so it's not something I was about to be like, hey, I'm non-binary, these are my pronouns. Also, in Japan, they don't really use pronouns, so it's kind of easier to get away with it, because instead of like using pronouns in conversation, they just use somebody's name, or they just omit that part of the sentence altogether. So it wasn't actually until I came back to the UK, people started using she, her a lot more, and it just really got me, and I was like, you know what, I have to go to the doctor and get myself a referral to the gender identity clinic. And yeah, so since then it's just been a journey of me figuring out my gender and settling finally on Demiboy. Like, even though I don't actively tell people I'm a Demiboy, because it's already hard enough having to explain what being non-binary is to people who aren't really aware of trans stuff. So for them, I just say I'm a boy, I'm transitioning, I'm on hormones, that's what I'm doing. But for people who are actually interested and want to learn, I'm like, cool, yeah, I'm a boy, I'm also non-binary, I like Demiboy, as I feel like that's a term that is all encompassing. So there are people out there who do know that I'm a Demiboy, because I actively go out of my way to say it, and sometimes I say it, sometimes I don't. I'm just scared a little bit of like the backlash. Like I don't want what happened last time with that last video to happen again. Like I'm strong, like it doesn't affect me, not in my soul, when strangers attack me on the internet, but it's still not fun to have a video that's got however many dislikes and all these horrible negative comments, and I have to disable the comments, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this, I can't be bothered. I'm very lucky to have the friends that I do and the people who follow me that were able to come to my rescue and help me get that video deleted. But yeah, like I know that I'll always have those people to come and help me in situations like that, but I don't want to get myself into that situation in the first place. However, just by existing and being open about my gender identity will bring those people in anyway. But yeah, I mean mentally, like in my soul, I'm fine, I'm happy. I'm used to being harassed. It's not something that I should be used to, but it's something that I'm used to. So yeah, like in terms of the GIC, like the Gender Identity Clinic, I don't tell them that I'm non-binary, I tell them that I'm trans man, because it's easiest that way, and they're very true scummy doctors who work at the Gender Identity Clinic, and they don't validate non-binary gender, and they would definitely not validate me saying that I'm a demi-boy. They probably don't even know what that means. You'd be very surprised how little Gender Identity Clinic doctors actually know about gender, considering the high majority of the people who actually work there are cisgender. There are only a small amount of people who actually work at that clinic that are transgender or non-binary or both. So yeah, there's no way of really explaining to them that I'm a demi-boy or what demi-boy means, and I don't want to take that risk. Like I know people who have been turned down by the Gender Identity Clinic for being non-binary, and I didn't want to take that risk. So for me, like again, it's this whole thing about the public seeing me as a boy, and my close friends and family and people who follow me online know that I'm non-binary. But yeah, I guess at the end of the day, like it's just a safety thing. Like I'm very happy with my identity and being a demi-boy and using both he and they pronouns. Like I'm chill with both. Like I like to emphasize that I use he and they, because I feel that kind of shows that I'm non-binary as well. Obviously there are binary trans folk who use they them pronouns too, like, but personally I feel like for me it kind of shows people that I am non-binary, so that's why I use both. And even though people just tend to use he him pronouns for me, which I'm totally cool with, like I also like having, like displaying the fact that I use both. So another thing about demigender, being demigirl or being demiboy, is that you can be assigned male at birth and identify as a demiboy, because at the end of the day the whole point about demigender is that you're identifying as a boy or a girl and like being agender. You don't have to be AFAB, assigned female at birth, to identify as a demi-boy. You don't have to be assigned male at birth to identify as a demi-girl. It's just another part of the non-binary spectrum, and it's really cool. Like I appreciate that there are people out there who are able to identify that way, because that's what they feel represents the best, and I think that's really cool. So yeah, I can't really talk about being demi-girl because obviously I'm not. So I will, my old videos down below that you're welcome to check out, and Daz's one as well, where they talk about being a demi-girl. That video was filmed 2 years ago, so like maybe 3 years ago, like in February 2018. So again, it is a little bit outdated, but if you do want to go and watch it, I will link them down below. So yeah, if you have any questions on this, like please let me know down below. I'm pretty much an open book. Like I will happily answer questions about gender. Like there's not a whole bunch that I actually won't talk about unless you're being directly offensive. So yeah, just obviously you can let me know down below. Thank you for watching. Please leave comments down below, and see you later.